going on YouTube? Jimmy House here, and welcome back to the Jimmy House YouTube channel. Today we have episode 2 of CrossFitter tries lifting or bodybuilding. Shit! How are you feeling going in today's workout?
I feel ready to get jacked.
Today we have deadlifts, squat, Bulgarian split squat, quad extensions, and hamstring curls. But the kicker is, all of those movements are gonna have a little twist that's gonna make you wanna stay tuned for the rest of the video. If you like it, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace. If you guys are interested in my one-on-one online coaching services, make sure to check out my coaching app where we can customize your workout, customize your nutrition for whatever specific goals that you need. We have a link down below in the show notes if you want to apply, and we can schedule a free consultation call with myself. What if I told you by watching this podcast, you could get one pass to unlock several gym memberships? Say what? That's right. With Red Gym Pass and code HOUSESTRONG, you can save money on a gym pass that allows you to go to all the participating gyms on this singular app. And if you're a gym owner and want your gym to be a part of it, comment down below and I'll reach out and we can get you set up on Rep Gym Pass. Nice.
I told him to put that bar where he fucking wants it. Yep.
Good. Nice. There it is. Nice. Good. More time bracing. There it is, right there. Good. Much better.
Ooh.
Yeah, the bar's not rolling out on you as much. I think it had to do with you hooking over like this, to be honest.
Really?
I do.
I didn't feel it do it.
If the bar is tugging straight down on your grip, then there's very little reason for it to push out unless your shins are hitting it out. Your shins weren't hitting out before. It was just literally coming out and you're having to pull it in.
Yeah. Oh, and my weight was shifting into my toes too.
At the top of the last one it was, yeah. Not at the start. But also, yeah, the fact that you're doing barefoot is probably also helping.
So for pulling from the ground, I'm way more used to pulling for cleans and snatches. And so my grip is a little bit wider. On a snatch, it's way out here. And it's even wider on my clean as well because I need to catch outside of my shoulder. And so my grip when I go to set up for a clean is gonna be a little wider because whenever I catch, I gotta be here. Versus this deadlift, I really just want it to be a long lever. So I wanna go straight down. My grip comes in a little bit more narrow. And then from there, in addition to that, hook grip, and we roll in Olympic weightlifting for CrossFit. We roll our knuckles up underneath, engage our lats because we need to pull it this direction to catch versus here. I'm just moving straight up. I'm not using momentum. And so not only did the grip come in, but then I'm still hook gripping, meaning that my thumb is coming up underneath of that barbell, like so. I'm still hooking, but I'm not rolling my knuckles up underneath of it and pulling it into me the entire time. I can kind of be a little bit almost more relaxed in the grip itself. I'm gonna hook, I'm gonna let it land a little bit lower. I don't know if you can see it there. I'm gonna let it land a little bit lower. So like, here's what, if I were doing a clean, this would be my start position. Because I'm doing a deadlift, here's my start position, and there's a little bit more space there. I still want to hook it in and lock it in, but I'm not gripping the barbell as ferociously. In result, the bar's not shifting forward on her anymore. And she has to fight really hard to pull it back in. And what we had talked about last week is, had that not happened, also had she been wearing more flat shoes or just barefoot, probably would have been able to do like 330 or even possibly a little bit more that day, because all that extra energy she had to fight to get 315 back into her center of gravity is all energy that could have been utilized on an ideal rep. So as she gets more accustomed to the differences between a clean, a snatch, and a traditional deadlift for strength, then I expect to see that number go up, not even because she gets stronger, but just simply because she adapts to the technical nature of the deadlift in comparison to her other lifts that look similar from the outside. Like a clean looks similar through the first part, but as you see from what she said, there's different nuances that you have to kind of change to respect the nature of what you're trying to accomplish within that movement. I asked if I was done here, assuming the answer was yes, and then he told me to go up. So it's fine, I wasn't expecting to go up. Only by 20 overall, 10s on each side. So we're just taking it to, what, 275? Yeah. And this is a women's bar, so it's a 35-pound barbell.
2 to 3, about 1 or 2 in the tank. Good? You got 3. slack, knees forward, chest up. Boom. Okay. Yeah.
Good. 1 or 2 in the tank. Probably not.
It's okay. Let your air out like before you even reach your knees on that last one.
Longer.
Although it's uncomfortable, yeah. Try to hold it till the very top, especially on those grinders.
Hold it till the very top?
Yeah.
But I let it out early?
You let it out like at your knee.
Yeah.
Usually that's where your core is going to be the most important as far as pressure is concerned, but yeah, you just let it out early.
Okay.
It's good though.
I'm like very not fast twitch historically, so I started to move like slow as molasses, but those reps, even though they look not repeatable, they feel repeatable with my slow twitch having ass.
So the main difference between what we're doing right now versus like a traditional Bulgarian split squat, neither or I necessarily rank above the other, but this one does allow you to intensify the movement with less load, therefore allowing you to access deeper ranges of motion so that you can build strength through an entire range of motion. When it comes through a traditional one, where a lot of times I think the main issue that you see a lot of people do is a lot of people put more emphasis on coming over with their chest than they do trying to achieve a deeper level of hip flexion. So there is a stretch in my glutes here at this point, but we hit that bottom portion for just a split second and then we come out of it. Whereas if we stay upward just a little bit, still come over with the chest and go deeper, then obviously we're getting a deeper stretch of the glutes, accessing more range of motion, giving ourselves a greater potential to build muscle. But with our foot on the ground versus elevated, we are to some degree stopped in our range of motion here. We have a finite range of motion depending upon how well your back leg can go into hip extension, also dependent upon your quad mobility. So for example, here, if I have really tight hips or I have really tight quads, I'm gonna feel a stretch on my back leg before I can even get enough range of motion in order to actually get anything going on my front. So trying to achieve the best of both worlds here, elevate the front leg so it's higher in comparison to your back leg. So the likelihood of you feeling a stretch on the back leg becomes much less due to the fact that each leg is at a similar starting point. From here, I can go down and lower and I'm not even feeling a stretch yet. I feel a stretch right about here, but as you can see on my front leg, I have a decent amount of knee flexion, a lot of hip flexion, my glutes feeling a great stretch, and I can still come over with my chest. And because of my shin being vertical, the majority of the activation is still coming through my glutes and hamstrings here. So, and the last point of that I'll make, if you look at the first set that she was doing, this is also something that's very tempting to do as reps gets harder, which is do a quad extension on your back leg to assist you on the front. So a lot of times as people go through this and they're starting to feel fatigue, this back leg will want to do a quad extension to help make this basically a bilateral movement, whereas it's meant to be a unilateral movement. So instead, again, majority of your weight is obviously going to be on your front leg, but as you come up, try your very best to take this thing almost off of the pad so that you're less likely to assist with that rear leg. You get more stimulus for the front.
This is why Jimmy is the best coach I know. All right.
Nice. He's breaking forward at the beginning. Keep it shifted back right here. There it is. Come over with your chest more at the top. Right. There it is. Better?
Oh my God.
Give it like a second longer in the eccentric.
I'm fighting for my life. Just gonna hear this echoing in my mind. Another second longer in the eccentric.
Yeah. Good. Let the chest come over at the very top. That's it. There it is. Better. Good.
Fuck. I smile when I'm in pain. It's so true. I was gonna punch you for making me slow down and move better. It's always worse than cardio. Like doing resistance training with intensity is infinitely worse than cardio every time. And I like cardio.
So watch the reps at the beginning of this set where you see her entire body moves cohesively from the bottom to the top. The hips, the shoulders, and everything are raising and extending at the same time. Whereas when she starts to hit the end of this set, if she starts to push off that back foot, you're gonna see the hips rise before the rest of the body does to shift the weight onto her front leg to finish once she's already gotten out of the hardest part of that lift. So with the body being kind of cool in that it adjusts your positioning to finish what you're asking it to do. Again, that's where the back leg can come into play if you're not careful. If you quad extend, the hips will raise first, just slightly like that right there, to shift the weight onto your front leg to finish the easier part of that particular range of motion. So that's where, like, again, it's okay if you do that towards the end of the set. It's a good indication of trying to hit total failure in your front leg. But then after that, you have more sets to go. That's probably a good indicator to drop the weight a little bit or mess with your tempo so that you're not as likely to try to push off that back leg to take stimulus away from the front. Because remember, if you're using your back leg to assist, we're at the deepest part of this lift. We're missing out on the gains that we get from the most scientifically proven best part of the lift to actually get stronger and build muscle.
I cursed while you were talking.
Really?
Just lightly.
It's okay.
I'll get better at this, I swear. I am funny. I was listening to a podcast I listen to all the time, and he was talking about how he always likes his posts because he likes his stuff, and even in his group chats with his friends. Also, if he says something funny, he ha-has it because he thinks he's funny.
Really lame.
And I really related to that.
Don't like your posts.
I don't, but I'm saying that I laugh at my own jokes. I think I'm funny.
It's okay. I agree. Just don't like your stuff. That's
do you laugh at my jokes too?
Yeah.
Why shouldn't I like my own posts?
Because it's lame.
Says who?
Me.
Maybe I'll start doing it. Just kidding.
It's lame.
I just thought it's funny that he ha-has his own stuff because I laugh at my own shit all the time.
It's good. I'm happy for you.
Tip two.
Let's take that machine.
What you know about that range of motion? I like it a lot. Shout out Atlantis.
Nice. Good. Big toe. Nice. Probably move your feet down a smidge. Just a little bit. Beautiful. Nice. That's it. 3. Go 8 to 10. Awesome. Good. Keep the knees and ankles stacked here. Let's go, Claire. That's it. Good. 4 to 6 more. Nice. Good. Small brace at the top. Small brace at the top. Use it to help stabilize your eccentric. That's it. Boom. Good.
Fuck.
1 or 2. 1 or 2. 1 or 2. Now it gets real. Here we go. Big toe. Big toe. That's it. Cool.
Yikes.
Good job.
Wow. That escalated quickly.
This is an Atlantis hack squat, which is, I like this one a lot because you can lay back on it like a traditional hack squat, but you can also move this guy forward, shove your chest forward, which just gives you a different feel, puts the weight a little bit differently on your feet. And for me personally, I actually like the activation in my quads a little bit more. I feel like there's a little bit deeper stretch on the quads, me personally. So with having the option of that, foot placement is always going to be super important when it comes to maximizing machines like this for what they're actually used for. A lot of times you see people come in the gym and do like a really wide stance, move their feet really far up to the top, and in result, probably moving a decent amount of weight. But in regards to what the machine is meant for, more often than not, a machine like this is meant to target the quads really well. You have a really stable environment, so if you can leverage your feet in the right position, you have a lot of potential for growth because of how stable it is to activate your quads. So for me, the correct answer for anybody is to have the lowest point on the platform before your heels have to come up so that you can have the full power of your entire foot pushing through the platform, but they're low enough so that you're allowed to have your knee travel forward enough and achieve a level of knee flexion. It's going to have an extreme carryover to the activation within your quad. With that said, you could always have a variation almost like a sissy squat where your heel comes up, make it a really, really quad isolated movement. But as far as like overall power and force production is concerned, I'm still going to choose the latter of having my foot and heel down. And then if I want to do something to get a burnout in the quads or some sort of accessory movement towards the end, I might let my heels up to get even more knee flexion. But as far as force production is concerned, generally speaking, having the full foot down is going to be the better answer.
Okay, this is my final set here, and so I'm gonna make the final set really miserable. I'm gonna go down and load just a little bit and just crank out some volume with lengthened partials. So I'll be going down to the end range and then only coming back up halfway. I'm working the muscle in that lengthened state exclusively. Way to burn it down. It's just really good hypertrophy to, you know, like put on size, which is what we're trying to do. Okay, everything's fine.
Yep, just halfway up. Now you put even more focus on having that eccentric be perfect. You only got half of it now. Boom, all the way down. Yep, perfect, halfway up. Perfect eccentric on the way down. There you go, good. That's it, nice. Slower. There it is. Milk the shit out of it, that's it. Better, nice and slow. Slower. Let's go 3 more, make them perfect. 2, make it perfect. There you go, there you go, there you go. Last one, make it perfect. Slow, 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 slow. Go. Nice, good job.
It hurts.
For both of us, her trying to be very proficient in CrossFit where you're having to do a lot of different things. So generally speaking, working through a full range of motion, going all the way down, coming all the way up is gonna be beneficial for an athlete like her. In the same respect with me, whether it's jiu-jitsu or powerlifting or professional wrestling, being strong through an entire range of motion is a must, which is why you see us put the emphasis on our beginning sets with the heavier load through a full range of motion so that we know whenever we have to tap into that in CrossFit or in jiu-jitsu or in wrestling, it's always going to be there. But in regards to some of our other goals, sculpting, building muscle, stuff like that, that's where having 1 or 2 lengthened partial sets at the end of your traditional working sets be beneficial, where you're essentially kind of getting extra credit, getting extra volume in the most stimulating part of the lift, the most hypertrophic part of the lift as updated by recent literature. But if you watch Dr. Mike videos, you've heard this probably a million times. But yeah, essentially just getting extra credit in the most beneficial part of the lift, which is going to be at the bottom. And you notice, even though she's only going halfway up, I'm coaching her to put even more emphasis on the little eccentric that she does have so that she can get everything out of the entire lift in both directions, despite the range of motion being half as much. And that literature that I'm talking about basically states that going into the bottom portion of a lift, whether it's the bottom portion of a squat or a bench press or whatever, the most lengthened part of that lift from a hypertrophic standpoint is just as, if not slightly more beneficial than going all the way down and coming all the way up. So in regards to what she's missing out from a muscle building perspective, actually nothing. It's just, again, we prioritize what we're doing here as athletes, working through a full range of motion, trying to be strong in the full spectrum. And then if we want to pulse things off, build a little bit more muscle, then one lengthened partial set will not do anything to affect her overall strength. But in theory, if she's building more muscle, having more muscle mass gives her a greater potential to have strength, a greater potential for force production. So technically in the long scheme is actually helping her get stronger because she's building more muscle from this particular lengthened set.
And that is how you get jacked.
Are you guys looking for a barefoot shoe that doesn't look like you're stealing from your grandmother's closet? Well, I have the solution for you. Use my code HOUSESTRONG at vivobarefoot.com if you want the best looking, best feeling, most versatile barefoot shoe on the market. Moving on to the end of the workout here, getting the rest of our volume in now that we've hit the majority of our compound movements. Now, with this isolated quad extension machine. This is from Prime. And Prime means number 1. The reason why this is the best quad extension machine out there is because it allows you to get a fair, if not more than fair, amount of knee flexion, aka more range of motion through the quad, unlike most other machines which start out honestly about here and your range of motion looks like this. So you're stuck either having to do a shitty range of motion or having to DIY it and put stuff in front of your shins like I've done in the past, try to add range of motion, but obviously that's inconvenience. With this guy, this allows you to move all the way back here to where quite literally I have to like sneak my leg in order to even get set up But once I'm locked in, it's a phenomenal range of motion to start out with. I'm already feeling a stretch in my quads as is. And to intensify that, push your hips forward so that you're starting in a little bit more of a degree of hip extension. The hip goes into extension. That helps get the rectus femoris of the quad a deeper stretch, which therefore, again, just like everything that we talked about, allows for a greater potential of gains made through this particular movement. So hips forward, knees forward. Use the handles here, stabilize yourself as much as you can. You don't want to be floating off of the bench as much here. Flex through the upper part of your quad, and I generally avoid going to full lockout, just staying in that bottom portion, coming out, and then coming back in. Despite what I just said, I decided to find something such as this and add even more range of motion to what the machine already allows for. Go ahead, slide it in. Go ahead.
Now it's all about how the heck do I get this thing. Oh, what are you gonna do about it? We're locked and loaded. Oh, sorry. Okay.
So what does the pad do, you ask? The pad provides ample protection on our shins, and second to that, adds an extra 1.5 inches of range of motion that our cameraman Matt only wishes he could have.
Fuck. Ah.
Like 2. Yep. Toes up.
Okay, I'm out.
One more, come on.
Oh my God.
All right.
Ow.
So talk about the immediate difference that you feel between like even just the extra 1.5 inches that you got.
The difference with adding that pad or getting more knee flexion or bend of the knee while it's loaded, right? Because you could bend your knee, but at some point the tension is removed, the stack slams down and the tension's removed. So you want to create tension as long as possible into knee flexion as long as possible, because the amount of resistance, like whenever you are fully extended, you typically feel a lot of pressure down here in your VMO in this portion of your quad. But as you go into flexion with resistance and it goes further back with resistance, which adding that pad gives us greater range there, start to feel a lot more stimulus come up your quad. So you just get a good burn all the way throughout. Yet again, that is where the muscle is most lengthened, is when we're in that flexion. And so when we're thinking about muscle building and stimulus, we're gonna wanna work it in the lengthened positions as best as possible. By adding pads or doing different things to create greater knee flexion under tension is
seated hamstring curl. The way you're gonna maximize this past what is already maximizing when it comes to isolating the hamstring is, number one, understand that this is going to be the best option when it comes to any variation of the hamstring curl. Lying, standing, this is gonna be the king. Why? Because the majority of the tension on this particular movement is when the hamstring is at its most lengthened position. After understanding that, setting yourself up to get even more tension out of that lengthened position, such as bringing this guy up farther, such as leaning forward, as you guys saw earlier, such as leaning forward and picking your chest up, get a deeper stretch in the hamstrings. And one little thing that I see a lot of people mess up on, keep the toes pulled up to your knee the entire time that you're curling. You're gonna have more tension at the top, and you'll even feel a deeper stretch at the top if you do that. Usually something like this, my eccentric is about 3-ish seconds. I'll pause at the top for 1 or 2 to get a deep stretch. And this is actually a really good way to build upon your hamstring mobility without having to do traditional stretching. If you're holding that top position for 2, 3, 4 seconds, that lengthened part, there's a good chance that you'll start to see some hamstring mobility gains, as well as the muscle gains that you'll be achieving because of the extra range of motion and tension that you're getting with this particular movement.
I'm always harping on mobility, stability, strength, and how can we do all at the same time through our resistance training. Like, why do you just have to mobilize? Why can't you mobilize and strengthen simultaneously? Exactly what he was just saying through the lift. So anyway, I like it.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Yep. Toes up, toes up, toes up. There you go. Keep them up, keep them up. There it is. Good. Good. Good, good, good. Nice.
Hammies are lit.
Some of the things that we're trying to show with these videos is people coming from the CrossFit world. How do you incorporate 1 to 2 different strength training or resistance sessions in a traditional gym setting to build your physique, complement your CrossFit, and just build strength in a different light outside of what you're already doing in CrossFit? That's number 1. And then number 2, disproving all the negative stigma behind people that do CrossFit and their inability to do what traditional gym bros do in the gym. What you'll come to find is actually CrossFit, especially at the higher level, is much more impressive than the majority of gym bros are doing in the gym anyways. Just to show that she can do both, here we are.